Hi everyone, Charlene Ortiz here, and welcome to your workout of the week. Today we're going to do a full standing workout like we did last week, but it's going to be a little bit harder. So I hope you've been practicing the workout that we did last week. And so what you're going to need today is just going to be your basic tubing. I'm also going to be using this tubing right here. And I'm also going to be using a step for the workout today. If you don't have a step, don't worry about it. You can still do the movements without a step. However, what I am going to do, I'm going to put a link in the description below on where you can buy a step online for like $15 or $20 if you would like to have a nice little addition to your home gym. I'm also going to be using my big resistor ball right here and just some light free weights. And so that's what you're going to need for today's workout. And if this is the first time many of you have seen any of my videos, you'll want to check out how to build a home gym for under $50. And I leave links in the description of that video on where you can purchase all this equipment for a really great price. And again, if you are wanting to get back into an exercise program and work out from home, you are going to need some equipment in order to get a good workout. So you'll want to check out that video. Also, you'll want to check out my playlist on the instructional videos on where I go into detail on how to do all these movements properly. And I'm a lot more specific because today I'm just going to kind of go through the workout. And so again, if this is all new and unfamiliar to you, check out how to build a gym for under $50 and my playlist of instructional videos. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So what I'm going to do with my tubing right here, my door anchor, I'm just going to open up my door and I'm going to put the tubing on the top of my door because I'm going to be starting with the lat pull down exercise. And so as you can see, it's so easy to put the tubing and shut it into the door. For those of you that do, and again, you want to make sure that you get tubing that has a door anchor, and you'll find those links on my video, How to Build a Gym Under $50. All right, so I'm going to start with just a basic lat pull down. As I say in everything that I do, always make sure that you're in your neutral, shoulders are back and down. Your belly button's pulled in nice and tight. Pretend there's a string attached to your belly button, pulling it back towards your spine. My knees are just slightly bent. My shoulders are down, and now I'm ready to begin. So I'm going to take the tubing and bring it to right underneath my collarbone, and then I'm going to release. As I pull the tubing down, I'm opening up my shoulders and my elbows to really get a nice contraction and engagement in those lat muscles. Your bicep muscles will also be an accessory muscle to this movement. As you pull down, you'll breathe out. As you release, you'll breathe in. And I'm keeping my body nice and stable throughout the whole movement. My shoulders are staying down and relaxed. As I release, my elbows are just slightly bent, and I'm not letting the tubing just take me away. I'm keeping nice, steady control throughout the whole set. So let's go ahead and we're gonna go for 3 more, keeping my shoulders down, breathing out and in. My belly button staying pulled in nice and tight at all times, and I'm maintaining my neutral spine. Okay, so that'll be your first exercise. Now I'm going to go on to a dumbbell press, and I've done this one in my past videos as well. But today I'm going to increase the intensity because, as I promised, I'm going to increase the intensity with each workout. And so I'm going to be doing a dumbbell press on the ball today. And so you want to make sure that you feel comfortable balancing yourself on the ball so you don't hurt yourself when you're performing this exercise. So holding my weights in close to my chest, I'm just going to slowly walk myself down so that until my head and my neck are supported by the ball. And I'm also making sure that my hips are at nice and level, that I'm not letting my hips fall down. And also not too high because we don't want to arch that back and get into an excessive lumbar curve there. So from this position right here, I'm going to extend and go into my dumbbell press movement, breathing out and in as I release. And I'm making sure that I'm stopping at my 90 degrees because we don't want to go back too far because that'll put unnecessary strain on the shoulder that we don't want. We just want the chest to be the primary mover, although the anterior deltoids are working as well as an accessory muscle. Actually, there's a lot of muscles that work with this exercise, but we don't want the anterior deltoids to be working too hard by bringing the weights back too far. I'm also keeping my wrist in a neutral position. I'm not bending them back at all. And my hips, my glutes are staying level at all times. Again, this is going to take quite a bit of balance. Also, when you position yourself on the ball, you want to make sure your neck is in neutral, that you don't go too far down like this, but that your neck is, again, in a nice, comfortable, neutral position. I'm going to go for 2 more repetitions, breathing out and in. 1 more, breathing out. And I'm going to rotate my weights together, bring them in close to my body, and then I'll set them down. And then from here, you can assist yourself as you sit back up onto the ball by holding onto the ball. Okay, so that will be your next exercise for this circuit. So now I'm going to go on to a lateral step. I have done this exercise before, but I'm going to be incorporating my band right here. So I'm going to be placing this around my ankles, or more, I guess more like around my calf. In this exercise, you're definitely going to feel the glutes engage as you go into this movement. So again, if you don't have a step, don't worry about it. You can just do a step to the side and in, just like that, okay? But again, I do recommend that you do invest in something like this because it will be a nice addition to your home gym, and it's very versatile. There's a lot of things you can do with it. And I'll be working my inner thigh a little bit more when I'm being on the step as I'm trying to lift my body up onto it. Okay, so my shoulders are down, my abs are nice and tight. I'm just in a slight bend forward. I'm not like this at all. It's just a very, very slight bend forward. Again, just like as if you're going into a basic squat. And so from this position right here, I have my band extended. I'm going to go into a small squat and step up onto the step and then back onto the floor. And I'm keeping my body nice and stable the whole time because the movement isn't really the squat. We're not really doing a deep squat here. It's more the step up movement. And as you step out, you'll be feeling your outer thighs working, which are your abductors. As you step in, you'll be feeling your adductors work with this movement. And we'll go for 10 repetitions of this exercise. And when you step down, you want to make sure that your feet are level, that you're not stepping back like this, but they are staying together, and that you're also pushing through the heel of this foot. Let's do 1 more as you do your movement. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and move to the other side. Or if you want, you can just turn around like that as well, so that my back isn't to you. I'm going to go to the other side. Okay, so again, same movement. Let's do 10 repetitions. My feet are in alignment together. We don't have one, they're not staggered. Okay, so into your squat, again, pushing through the heel of the foot, and tap. And breathe out, and in. And again, we're just doing a very slight lean forward. We're not doing we don't want our upper body going too far forward or parallel to the floor, because that will put some stress on our lower back as well. So you want to keep just a nice, good, consistent pace. I'm not bouncing around or anything like that. I'm just keeping nice control in my movement. Okay, I'm going to do 1 more and relax. Okay, so now I'm going to remove my band and I'm going to go into a bent over row. And I did do a video on this, on how to properly perform a bent over row, if you want to review that before you attempt this movement. So for those of you that have any type of back issues or you need a little bit more support, you can use any type of apparatus to give you support while doing this movement. I'm just using my buffet right here. Or if your core is strong enough, your back feels good enough, you can just do a bent over position like this and just support your own body. And so with the bent over row, you want your body to be as parallel to the floor as you can get it, so that you're going more directly against gravity as much as possible. Just like with any row movement, you want to make sure that you begin with a retraction and then you pull back. And as I'm doing my movement, I'm making sure that my elbow is staying in close to my body. I'm not letting my elbow go out to the side at all, keeping it in close to my body. And I'm also keeping my wrist in a neutral position where I'm not letting it bend in like that, okay? So let's go ahead, we'll do a few more repetitions. Even though I have my hand on my knee, I'm not leaning on it. I'm not putting my body weight on it. And again, if this is just too strenuous for you, then if you just let your hand lean on some type of an apparatus, it will help. It will make a big difference on the support that you feel. And you want to be bringing the free weight, the dumbbell, up by the hip as you're doing the movement. Let's just do 2 more. I kind of lost count, but again, you'll be doing 8 to 12 repetitions. Now as you're getting stronger, I'm going to reduce the number of repetitions to 8 to 12 because that will help you to develop your muscles and your strength a little bit faster. Now I'm going to turn around and do the other side. So again, I'm going into my neutral. I'm not like this, okay? I'm making sure I'm in a nice neutral. And again, if you're not comfortable with this movement, my video on how to properly perform a bent over row, I get into very, very specific detail on everything that you need to be aware of when you're performing this movement. My shoulders are also staying down and relaxed, and I'm bringing my dumbbell up towards my hip. Again, my elbow staying in close to my body. As I pull up, I'm breathing out. As I release, I'm breathing in. And my belly button always stays pulled in nice and tight, like a string attached to that belly button. Because as you start to get tired, one of the first things that's going to go is your transverse abdominis. Letting that belly button go, but we don't want that because we want to make sure that it's engaged in order to protect our low back. Let's do 1 more, and we're going to relax. Okay, so now I'm going to do what's called a lateral lunge. Again, this is a movement I have not done before, and this one is definitely going to engage your inner thigh, your adductor muscles, and your glutes are also going to be a primary mover with this exercise. So what you're going to do, you're going to step out to the side. Okay, if you have knee issues and you want to rotate your foot out slightly, that's fine. If it puts too much strain on your knee to keep your foot completely forward. But this foot should stay completely forward. So from this position right here, I'm going to let this leg straighten. And again, I'm just going into a slight squat. Okay, just a slight lean forward with my upper body. Okay, and then I'm going to bring it together just like that. So out to the side, this leg stays completely straight, and then I'm pushing through the heel of this foot as I do my movement. I'm going to give you a lateral view here, and you want to make sure that this knee is not coming forward, which should sound very familiar with lunges, squats. You want to make sure that that knee always stays in a level position and is not coming forward. And again, if you see your toe, your foot disappear while you're doing the movement, then you know that that knee is coming forward, and that's not appropriate. And we're not doing a real deep movement here, especially for those of you that have any type of knee problems. We're just doing just a slight squat movement. And again, we're going to be feeling a lot of the intensity in the inner thigh as we're coming together, as well as the glute on this side as we're pushing our foot back to the other one. So let's go ahead and we're going to do the other side now. So now I'm going to step, so now I'm going to step this leg out to the side and push back to this leg. Again, I'm keeping my neutral position at all times. And now with this foot, I'm pushing through the heel of the foot as I'm doing my movement. And this leg, remember, is staying completely straight. Also, with your position, you don't want to go out too far because then it's going to be really hard to push yourself back. And you don't want to pull your adductor muscle as well. But you don't want to go out too short either because then you won't get a great movement, and also you'll have a tendency to want to bring your knee forward because you won't really have a place for that knee to go. And so that could put stress on the knee that's inappropriate. So again, you just want to make sure that if the distance is far enough so that your leg will be nice and straight, this knee can follow a nice natural bend with the alignment, but not so far that you feel like you're gonna pull your inner thigh, because we don't want that. All right, I'm gonna go for 3 more repetitions, and you should be feeling your heart rate is definitely elevating while you're doing this movement, which is good. That's what we're looking for. Let's do 1 more and relax. Okay, so now I'm gonna do just a basic tricep press with my tubing right here. So again, I'm in my neutral, shoulders are back, belly button staying pulled in nice and tight. Keeping my elbows in close to my body. I'm just gonna do a straight, full movement, and we want a nice, full extension with this exercise so that we can really get the tricep to engage, which means that the hands will be going back behind the legs, okay? You don't want to cut it short and do it like this, because again, you're not going to get that full contraction for that tricep muscle. Also, again, keep your shoulders nice and relaxed. My elbows stay stable. I'm not doing this or anything like that. It's staying completely stable. And you want to keep your wrists from bending up like this as well. You want to try to keep them more neutral and more pointing down. All right, I'm going to go for 2 more repetitions. 1 more, again, full extension and relax. All right, so I'm going to do 1 more exercise, and this one I actually did do. I'm going to use this tubing again. But this exercise I actually did do on our last workout of the week, and I'm just going to repeat it. So what we're going to do is just a basic squat and bicep curl movement. So again, that's why with the tubing, you want to get a set like the one that I did in my, my video, where you have different resistance levels that you can use. Because for some exercises, you'll be able to do more, and some you'll have to do less. And so that's why it's good to have different levels. Okay, so again, this is from last week, and my neutral, shoulders are down, abs are pulled in nice and tight. I'm going to go into my basic bicep, release, and then just into a slight squat, okay? Again, my squat movement is always going to be led with my butt, and my upper body is going to lean forward just slightly as I go into my movement, just to help counterbalance me a little bit. But again, we don't want to go too far forward, because not only will that take the strain away from the glutes, which is a primary mover with this exercise, it'll also put unnecessary stress on your lower back. My knees are staying nice and level. So as you can see, my knees are not coming forward in the movement, but they're staying in a nice level position. And I'm going to go ahead and do 2 more. Breathing out and in. Last one, out and in. Okay, so that is going to be the standing part of the workout. And now I'm going to go ahead and move on to the floor, and we'll end with some abdominal exercises. Okay, so now we're going to end with just a few ab exercises. So I'm going to review the leg circles that we did last week, and today I'm actually going to add the band so that we can get our hips to engage a little bit more. And for those of you that have a tendency to have really tight shoulders, you might want to put a pillow down, because you don't want to lay down and have your neck like this, okay? If you're able to keep your neck in a neutral while you're doing this exercise, that's fantastic. But if you're noticing that your neck is coming back, you definitely get just a small pillow just to put it into a more neutral position, just like that. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my band and I'm going to wrap it around my feet, okay? And so again, I'm going to do the leg circles just like we did last week, but this time using the tubing right here. And we're going to rotate our legs into one direction. You can pick clockwise or counterclockwise, doesn't matter, as long as you remember what direction that was, so you make sure you go the opposite direction. And we'll do 10 repetitions of each one. So with this exercise, remember, the bigger you go, the harder it's going to be. The smaller you go, the easier it's going to be. And if you need to bend your knees slightly while you're doing this movement, that's fine, okay, to begin, until you're able to get strong enough and even more flexible enough where you can actually straighten your legs, okay? So now I'm going to do the opposite direction. Now, you also want to make sure, again, that your back is staying in a nice firm position, that you're not arching your back as you're doing the movement, because that takes the transverse abdominis out of the equation and puts the majority of the strain on your back, which is exactly what we don't want. So again, even if your movement is real tiny, where it's up here, that's fine, as long as you're able to keep that nice neutral position with your back on the floor and keep that belly button pulled in, keeping the abs as the primary mover. Okay, so now I'm going to take the tubing off of my feet. All right. So now I'm going to end with just a little bit of a hip lift movement. So with my hands on the side of my body and my feet elevated in the air, you can also use the small ball that I forgot to bring my small ball today, but that's okay. But if that small ball that I like to use a lot, you can also use the small ball for this exercise if you want to put it between the knees to get the inner thighs and the lower intra-abdominal muscles to engage a little more. But we can do it without it, of course. So keeping the knees together, my hands are going to be on the side of my body. I'm releasing my legs just as far as what feels comfortable, as long as my back is not arching. And I'm going to do a little lift and breathe out as I lift. And you want it to be nice and controlled movement. You don't want it to be like this, okay? That's definitely going to be a great way to injure your back if you do it in an aggressive manner like that. And so again, your range of motion with the release, don't worry about it. You just want to make sure that the movement is nice and controlled. With this one, actually, the more you bring your feet in for the lift, the harder it's going to be. And the straighter your legs are, the easier it's going to be. Because if your legs are a little bit straighter, it does give you a little bit more momentum with the movement. But you don't want to use momentum with this movement. You just want to make sure that you're using your abdominal muscles to do the actual lift. And if you really breathe out forcefully, that will cause your transverse abdominis to really pull in even tighter, giving you a little bit more strength with the movement. Let's do one more. And relax. All right, let's go ahead and we'll do a little bit of a stretch now. Stretch out our abdominal muscles. That was definitely a hard one for me. I haven't really done that one in a while. Okay, we're going to do one more for the oblique muscles. It's just going to be a basic rotation. I'm going to rotate myself to the side and sit myself up. So what I'm going to do, I have just my light free weight here. If you don't have a free weight or anything to do this movement, that's fine. You can do it without a free weight. Or you just don't feel like you're ready to do this movement with the free weight, that's fine too. So all we're going to do is keeping our knees and our feet together in a nice neutral position, leaning back just slightly, and we're just going to do a little rotation side to side. That's all we're going to do. If you feel strain on your back while you're doing this, then you can pull your arms in closer to your body, and that'll put a little bit less stress on your back. If your back feels fine, but you want to make sure you get a nice, good, challenging abdominal workout, then you can straighten your arms all the way, and you'll definitely feel a lot more strain on the abdominal muscles. Again, as long as your back is not feeling too much of that strain. It will feel, some strain. It will engage somewhat, but it shouldn't be the primary muscle, and you shouldn't be feeling pain that's inappropriate where you feel like your back's about to go out if you keep doing it. And for this movement, we'll do about 10 on each side. I did lose count, but on your own, you'll do about 10 repetitions on each side. So let's go ahead, we'll just do 2 more on each side, and 1 more on each side. Good. And relax. Okay, so if you want, you can go ahead and lay back down, and you can give yourself a nice full body stretch, stretching out those abdominal muscles. And to do a full stretch after the work, I'm not going to do a full stretch today for the sake of time, but you want to check out my video, how to do a full body stretch, and that will be a great stretch for you to do after your workout. Those stretches that I show, because I show stretches standing, sitting, and laying down, and you can do the ones that are laying down after your workout. So you want to pull your knees into your chest, just to do, again, a quick little stretch. But on your own, you definitely want to take more time to stretch on your own. And each stretch you want to hold for at least 30 seconds to 1 minute. And then I'll often go into just my hamstring stretch. Again, I'm just going to hold it for just a few seconds just for the sake of time. I always keep one leg bent for me personally, just because if I straighten my leg, my back arches too much, and that's uncomfortable for me. But some people can straighten this leg and bring their leg all the way back to their head. I'm certainly not one of those people. And then we'll just go ahead and we'll go into an erector spine A stretch. So you can either do it with both legs to the side and your arms just out to the side, or you can do one leg straight and just one leg out to the side where you're using the opposite arm to kind of pull it. And then you'll look the opposite direction that your knee is going. You'll look the opposite direction and keep this arm nice and straight. And it will also help to stretch out your chest as well. But again, you can do it like this if it's more comfortable, or like this if you're a little bit more flexible. And let's go ahead and switch to the other side. So again, you can do it like this, or you can do it like this, whatever your preference is. But as long as you're holding the stretch for 30 to 60 seconds, remember you're keeping those shoulders nice and relaxed. And your goal is to try to touch the floor with your shoulder, but if you can't, don't worry about it. Don't force it, because you don't want to hurt yourself either. And so from this position right here, I'm going to go ahead and rotate myself up and push myself up from the side. All right, guys, give yourself a hand. You did an awesome job today with your workout of the week. And again, I know it's getting harder and harder as each week goes by. Now, if you need more than 1 week to get good at the workout and feel ready to go on to the next level, by all means, take more time to do the workout. But you want to be doing these workouts 3 days a week now, because as you're getting stronger, you're getting in better shape, your stamina is improving. You should be doing these now 3 days a week, 3 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions for each exercise. And give yourself a day in between to allow your muscles to heal from the strain of the movement, so that the next workout you'll be able to gain strength and see progression. Your nutrition tip for the week is going to be to increase your water intake from the tip that I gave you the first week. The first week I said to replace 2 beverages, sugary beverages a day with just pure water. Now I want you to replace at least half of your beverages with fresh water. I only want you drinking 2 beverages a day that are sugary, and the rest I want it to be just water. Now, if you want to, if you're not a big fan of water and you want to drink flavored water or even flavored sparkling water, that's okay. That's definitely will be a much better progression from juice or soda. Because someone in one of my last videos made a comment that they enjoy the flavored water. And so if that's something that will help you to be more likely to drink water, then that's fine too. At some point though, you do want to get to a point where most of what you're drinking is fresh water. So only two sugary beverages a day, whether it's a juice or a soda, whatever it is, and the rest of it I want it to be water. As far as your snacks, I gave you a challenge to replace 1 sugary snack a day with your favorite fruit. Now I want you to replace 2 unhealthy snacks a day, whether that be chips or candy or donuts or whatever it is, bagels, whatever it is, something that's unhealthy. I want you to replace 2 unhealthy snacks a day with your favorite fruit and 1 with your favorite vegetable. And again, as you're making these changes little by little, you'll start to see that your nutrition habits are getting better, and it's not as painful as you thought it might be, and you don't feel like you're still missing out on enjoying food as well. And so your positive thought for the week is going to be, I am strong, I am healthy, I am physically capable of doing whatever I want. And so repeat this to yourself all the time. Again, you don't have to believe it, but I still want you to say it to yourself in your mind. Say it out loud. Even if you don't feel strong, you don't feel healthy, I want you to still tell yourself that, because our body does respond to how we think. All right, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in for the workout of the week. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you leave a comment down below, and I'll be sure to address any questions or concerns that you guys have. Remember, take care of yourself, protect yourself physically and emotionally, and don't forget, your health is your most valuable asset. Invest in it. Bye-bye.